In the last classes, we had seen about power factor, improvement of power factor. For the improvement of power factor, we will use capacitor banks. And what is the size of capacitor bank we have to choose and where we have to locate the capacitors. So these are all the topics we had seen. Those are all for linear loads, power factor with linear loads. Now coming to the next topic, power factor with non-linear loads. So first of all, what is the difference between the linear load and non-linear load? And particularly these non-linear loads have low power factor. We have to improve the power factor. If you operate a system with a low power factor, it will consume more energy. So you have to improve the power factor. The power factor is a measure of how effectively a specific load consumes electricity to produce the work. If higher the power factor, the more work will be produced with less energy consumption. If power factor is low, it consumes more energy to perform the same work. Coming to the linear loads, what is meant by linear load and what is meant by non-linear load, how it will affect the power factor. The power factor can be measured from the power triangle. It is a right angle triangle. This side is a real power. It is measured in terms of kilowatts. And this opposite side is the reactive power. Measured in kilovolt ampere reactive, kVAR, kilovolt ampere reactive. And the vector sum of these two, real power and reactive power, will give you the total power, that is apparent power. If your system is drawing a 50 volt amperes from the supply, this 50 volt amperes is nothing but the apparent power. Apparent power will be measured in volt amperes or kilovolt amperes. So suppose if the system is drawing 50 volt amperes, in that it is a vector sum of this real power and reactive power. It consumes 25 kilowatts or 30 kilowatts is a true power, that is real power. It is also called true power. And the remaining 20 watts, 20 kilowatts, this is kVAR. This is the reactive power consumption. Whatever you're taking the energy or electrical energy from the utility, that is divided into two parts. One is a real power and another one is a reactive power. This real power is used for producing work. Whatever your necessity is there, your load, so the work performed by this power. And what about this power? What it is doing? It is going to be a loss. Some losses will be produced in every electrical system. So those losses will consume this much power. So that is called the reactive power. So reactive power is always a loss. If your system, your electrical appliance is an energy efficient one, then the losses will be less. That means it consumes less reactive power and true power will be high. The losses will be reduced. This is about real power, reactive power, and apparent power. Whatever the electrical energy you are taking, that is nothing but the apparent power, and it is a combination of true power and reactive power. True power is used to produce the work, useful work, and reactive power is going to be a loss. So in case of linear loads, apparent power is denoted with a letter S. That S is equal to the product of voltage and current, VI. That is a vector, or it is a vector sum of real power and reactive power. And this Power factor. Power factor will be defined as it is a ratio of real power to the apparent power. Real power is nothing but VI cos phi. The formula for real power is VI cos phi. V is the voltage, I is the current, and phi is the phase angle difference between voltage and current. So VI cos phi by VI. Apparent power, that is VI. It is denoted with a letter S. The formula for it is VI. And reactive power, the formula for it is VI sin phi. These are all you studied in your basic electrical engineering. You may forgot it. So now remember this power factor formula is real power by apparent power. So if you cancel out these two, power factor is cos phi. Here phi is the phase angle difference between S and P. S is the apparent power and P is the real power or true power. In the previous case, when I told you the formula VI cos phi, here phi is nothing but that is the phase angle difference between voltage and current. But in case of linear loads, the phase angle between voltage and current as well as the phase angle between the real power and apparent power is same. Then those loads are called linear loads, or your load current will vary linearly with the voltage. That means it obeys Ohm's law. So phi is the phase angle between apparent power and real power. S is nothing but apparent power and P is nothing but real power. So this angle is same as a displacement angle between voltage and current. Whatever the displacement angle is there between voltage and current, this phi is equal to that displacement angle between voltage and current for linear loads. Remember this point, in case of non-linear loads, the displacement angle will not be equal to the angle between the apparent power and reactive power. This is not equal to phi. The displacement angle between voltage and current is not equal to phi in case of non-linear loads. But here, linear loads we are discussing. For linear loads, this angle is equal to phi. Suppose for a given amount of current, if you increase this phi, if phi increases, it will increase Q, reactive power. Reactive power will be increased and real power will be decreased. Thereby, it lowers the power factor. So if phi increases, how the power factor will be reduced and this reactive power will be increased and real power will be decreased, because power factor is nothing but cos phi. Suppose if you increase this angle, I'm taking 0 degrees and 90 degrees, my phi values. I'm increasing from 0 to 90. At 0 degrees, cos phi value, power factor is 1. But at 90 degrees, cos 90, cos phi value 0. Your power factor is reducing. If you increase the value of a displacement angle, then your power factor is reduced. If the power factor reduced, the reactive power will increase. Low power factor equipment draw more reactive power. That means losses will be more. So for linear loads, how can we improve the power factor? By connecting capacitor banks or a synchronous condenser or a phase advancer. Those are the three types we have power improvement methods. So you can improve your power factor for these linear loads by connecting the capacitor bank at a suitable location. This is about linear loads. And how in the waveform representation, how can we know whether it is a linear load or non-linear load? If it is a linear load, let us assume this is the voltage waveform. And current will also linearly increases with the voltage. This will be your current waveform. Linear loads means they will obey Ohm's law. If you take voltage on x-axis and current on y-axis, if you increase the voltage, the current will also increases linearly. At any instant of time, the slope will be equal. So current is increasing linearly with the voltage. So this is about linear loads. See the waveform also. At what instant the voltage waveform started, at the same instant your current wave also started. And at what point your voltage becomes zero, at the same point the current also becoming zero. That means there is a linear relation between voltage and current. So this is about linear loads. Now coming to our topic, non-linear loads. How the power factor will be affected with non-linear loads. So all the electrical loads either may be linear loads or non-linear loads, depending on how they are drawing the current from the main power supply waveform. If the waveform is like this, if the current waveform is following the voltage waveform, then it is a linear load. Otherwise, we have to treat it as non-linear load. So with non-linear loads, the current is not proportional to the voltage and it fluctuates based on the load impedance. Based on the type of load, the current waveform will fluctuates with respect to the voltage, but it won't follow the voltage waveform. So those type of loads are called non-linear loads. Suppose if I am connecting my computer to the power supply. So computer here is a load. It will draw some current from the supply. Then if you draw a waveform between the supply voltage and the current drawn by the computer, then the current waveform will not follow the voltage waveform. Then it is called a non-linear load. Your computer will become a non-linear load. So let's see the waveform. There is the supply voltage waveform. Now the current waveform for the non-linear loads will be like, not only like this, it won't follow the voltage waveform. See, up to this point, the current is zero. Even though there is a voltage, the current is zero. At this point, it is suddenly increased. And at this point, it suddenly decreased. It doesn't follow the voltage waveform. But for linear load means current should linearly increase with the voltage. If voltage is increasing, the current should also increase. If voltage is decreasing, the current should also decrease. But in case of non-linear loads, the current will not follow the voltage waveform. Then the type of load is called the non-linear load. The examples for these non-linear loads are computers or laptops, our TV sets, printers, and rectifiers. We can simply say that whenever there is a semiconductor device is there in your system, then that system has a nonlinear load. Any electrical appliance consists of the semiconductor devices, then those are the nonlinear loads. Semiconductor devices will not follow that Ohm's law. That means current is linearly varying with voltage is nothing but the Ohm's law. So semiconductor devices will not obey that Ohm's law. So then that is called a nonlinear load. So whichever equipment is consisting of those semiconductor devices, those are all comes under nonlinear loads. In our previous topics, we had discussed about these variable frequency drives, and this one also a nonlinear device, nonlinear load, variable frequency drives. Why? Because it consists of semiconductor devices like diodes, rectifiers, inverters. So this is also a nonlinear load. So these are all some of the examples for nonlinear loads. So nonlinear load means it has a low power factor. So you have to improve the power factor. Why it is having low power factor? So these nonlinear loads, what they are doing? They will draw currents and sudden short pulses, abrupt change. Suddenly the current may increase. Suddenly the current may decrease. So abrupt changes in the current will takes place in nonlinear loads. So because of this sudden changes in the currents, harmonics will be developed. And the current waveform, harmonics is nothing but interruptions in the current or unwanted components in the current. Those are not required for our load. So those components will be generated because of these sudden changes in current. So these abrupt changes in the current leads to harmonics. So because of these harmonics, what will happen? Harmonics means this is also one current only, component of current. In your current waveform, this is the one component of current and this is the unwanted component of current. So what it does, this leads to loss. You are not requiring that one. So it doesn't do any work. So these harmonic currents produce no useful work. If it is not producing no useful work means your loss increases. So that current as a loss. So it produces loss. We are not utilizing that current. We are taking the current from the supply, but we are not utilizing. It is going to be a loss. So it doesn't produce any useful work. So if loss is increased, what happens to the power factor? Power factor will be reduced. Because of this reason, the nonlinear loads having a low power factor. So for these nonlinear loads, the power factor will be a combination of two things for nonlinear loads. The power factor is a combination of two things. Normally, the power factor means we have that P by S, true power by apparent power. For linear loads, we have seen this one. P is nothing but kW and this is kVA. And that is equal to cos phi. This is we had seen in linear loads. Or from the power triangle, you can write S is equal to, it is a right angle triangle, right? Power triangle. This one is a right angle triangle. I will draw it here. Hypotenuse is the apparent power S and this adjacent side is the true power and this one is a reactive power, and that is indicated with Q. So if you need S is equal to under root from the Pythagoras theorem, P square plus Q square. P is nothing but Kw quantity, so Kw square plus Q is nothing but reactive component kVAR whole square. So this is for linear loads. So power factor Kw by kVA means that kVA you can represent like this. So power factor is equal to Kw by Kw square plus kVAR whole square. This is for linear loads. Then what is going to be happen in case of non-linear loads? So I'm drawing the same power triangle for non-linear loads. If it is a linear load, this is the power triangle, this is P, that is kilowatts, and this is Q, kVAR, and this is S. If it is a non-linear load, then in addition to this reactive power, additional current will be drawn. That is due to harmonics. Due to sudden changes in your current leads to harmonics, and then that harmonics, those are also some component of current only. It will draw current from the supply. Due to that current, you are getting the loss. So that is represented here kVAH, or kilovolt ampere reactive, because of the harmonics, and that is a loss. In addition to this reactive component, some more reactive power will be drawn from the supply because of the harmonics. Now your apparent power will be this S. If you observe this triangle, in the previous case, apparent power is less. The less power will be drawn to do the same work. But here, whenever non-linear load is connected to the utility, then the apparent power drawn from the utility is more to do the same work. Now, if you write the power factor equation, power factor is equal to P by S, that is nothing but Kw by kVA. Now, this is not equal to cos phi here. In case of linear loads, Kw by kVA is a cos phi. But in case of non-linear loads, this is not equal to power factor. Why? Because your apparent power is the summation of P square plus Q square plus H square. Here Q is the reactive power and H square is nothing but the reactive power drawn due to the harmonics. So S is nothing but apparent power, that is kVA under root P square. P square is nothing but Kw square plus Q is nothing but reactive power kVAR square plus this is due to harmonics. Reactive power drawn due to harmonics. So kVAR H under whole square. You can observe that apparent power in case of linear loads and non-linear loads. This is in case of linear. It is a sum of Kw square plus kVAR square. But here Kw square plus kVAR plus kVAR H whole square. So now the true power factor in case of non-linear loads is the product of displacement power factor into distortion power factor. It is not equal to cos phi for non-linear loads, but it is a product of displacement power factor into distortion power factor. In case of linear loads, this distortion power factor will not be there. Directly the displacement power factor is the total power factor in case of linear loads. But here, in case of non-linear loads, it is the product of these two. So now what is meant by the displacement power factor and what is meant by distortion power factor? For most of the nonlinear loads, the displacement factor will be near to unity. Even though it is a nonlinear load, the displacement power factor will be unity. But true power factor will not be unity. Why? Because this displacement power factor is multiplied with distortion power factor. Because of the harmonic component generated in nonlinear loads, this distortion power factor will comes into picture. So if you multiply these two, then true power factor will be deviated from the unity. Suppose if you take a personal computer as an example, a load is a personal computer. For this, displacement power factor is approximately equal to unity. Unity is nothing but 1 or nearly equal to unity, but its total power factor. We should not take the displacement power factor only. Why? Because it is a non-linear load. So therefore, the total power factor will be in the range of 0.65 to 0.7 because of this distortion power factor. So therefore, the best way to improve a poor power factor caused by the nonlinear loads is to remove harmonics. Because of the harmonics only, we are getting this distortion power factor. If there is no harmonics, the true power factor is equal to the displacement power factor. Right? There will not be any reactive component due to this harmonics. This term will not be there. But due to harmonics, we are getting this term. So whenever you want to improve the power factor for non-linear loads, first we have to remove the harmonics. But in case of linear loads, directly you can connect a capacitor bank or any power factor improvement method like synchronous condenser or phase advancer. You can connect it, then the power factor gets improved. But for non-linear loads, we have to reduce the harmonics. So there are two methods, or there is a process for improving the power factor for these non-linear loads. How to improve the power factor? Improving power factor for non-linear loads. How can we improve this power factor? By correcting both displacement factor as well as the distortion power factor. Then only we can correct the total power factor of this non-linear load. This is true power factor or total power factor for the non-linear load. Suppose if you correct distortion factor and if you are not correcting the displacement factor, you just kept as it is, displacement power factor, and you corrected it, distortion power factor, by reducing the harmonics, then what will happen to the true power factor? True power factor will not be improved. Why? Because to improve the true power factor or total power factor of the nonlinear load, you have to adjust both the distortion factor, distortion power factor, as well as the displacement power factor. Then only you can achieve or you can improve the power factor of the nonlinear load. So to improve the power factor, there is a procedure. It consists of two steps. First, you have to reduce the displacement angle between voltage and current. This is just as like in case of linear loads. If you reduce the displacement angle between voltage and current, then the power factor will be improved. So this can be done by connecting the capacitor bank. And second one, so by reducing this displacement angle, we can improve the displacement power factor. And second one, what we have to do, we have to correct the distortion power factor also. Then how can you correct the distortion power factor? By removing the harmonics. The second step, reduce total harmonic current distortion. So if you reduce the harmonics, thereby the distortion power factor will be improved. So if you improve these two, automatically the total power factor for the nonlinear loads gets improved. Suppose if either of these steps taken without the other, then total power factor increases, but it may not be high enough to reach the value required by the utility. Even though if the true power factor increased, if you correct any one of these two methods, but it is not sufficient enough to reach your requirement. So that's why you have to improve or you have to correct the two power factors. It is displacement power factor as well as the distortion power factor. So this is the way to improve the power factor in case of non-linear loads.